Hello students, I welcome you all in the lecture number 5 of the Constitutional Law class in the Clat lecture series sponsored by Shri Jayendra Rank Zone. I am your mentor Shekhar Gehlot, Clat PG All India Rank 25. So we are now continuing our discussion over the fundamental rights, which is one of the most cherished, most crucial, most important part of the Constitution as far as a citizen and his interaction with the government is concerned. These are those basic rights, as we have discussed, which a citizen is guaranteed by the Constitution. So, most of the discussion has always been on this part 3 only. This part 3 has been very controversial because it is the it is usual DNA of the government that it wants to curb the rights of the citizen, and it is the DNA of the citizen that they want to ferociously protect their rights at any cost from being trampled by the government authorities. So we were discussing Article 21. This is one of the most salutary articles, and not only in India, but this article has been celebrated worldwide. Okay, this Article 21. This Article 21, you will find there are only two lines. Okay, this is the position when this article was first added, 1950. This is the 1950 position of the article. This written position has not changed. But the usage and the overall meaning has undergone a sea change. It has undergone a sea change. So if we read the article at the face of it, it says no person shall, like we discussed, all these articles, fundamental rights are called negative duties because they begin with no person shall or state shall not. No person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty. Now this life and personal liberty is your freedom of your movement. Okay, like you are putting someone behind the bars, you are putting someone in the jail, you are depriving him of the liberty. Jail or confining him. Confining him in the jail. That's how a personal liberty is curtailed when you put someone behind the bars or deprive his life. It means kill that person, or legally speaking, death penalty. Death penalty. Okay. Illegally it means killing the person, like murdering him, or legally speaking, giving death penalty to someone, except according to the procedure established by law. Law means a law made by the Parliament of India. So a person can be deprived of his personal liberty or life only when there is some procedure established by the law. Now suppose state wants to deprive someone of the liberty. Deprive A of his liberty, that is, state wants to jail A. State cannot do so until there is a procedure established by law. Until there is a procedure established by law. Now, suppose A commits a crime, then state can, under the CRPC and IPC, which are Criminal Procedure Code and Indian Penal Codes, under the CRPC and IPC can validly take that person into the custody and take him to the jail. But if he has not done an act which is an offence as per CRPC or IPC, he has committed no offence, state cannot deprive him from his liberty, and same goes for the deprivation of his life. Okay, now this article only started as an article for which prevents from arbitrary arrest, detention, punishment by police and the government authorities. Okay, initially this article only meant that no one should be killed or put behind the bars, but over the time its use has changed and so many judicial pronouncements have come over it. Now this article has become a hallmark of individual liberty. Now, why? Because Indian courts say or Indian system says liberty, life and liberty, life and liberty is not merely physical existence, not merely physical existence. Life should have a meaning and a purpose as well. Okay, so now it includes right to privacy. A citizen has a right to privacy as well. Why? Because it is guaranteed in the deprivation of his personal liberty. Because my privacy, my bedroom, my life is my personal liberty. Now you cannot enter into my privacy. State cannot keep on tapping my phones or keep on recording my movements without my permission. Right to dignity, a right to meaningful or a purposeful life means will be incomplete without a dignity. So I have a basic dignity as well. Right against torture. State when it arrests me, okay, police when it arrests me and puts me behind the bars, it shall not torture me. It shall not inflict torture upon me. Why? Because that is against my personal liberty. And torture is not prescribed in the procedure established by law. There is no law which certifies torture as valid. So nobody should torture me. I should also have a right to clean environment, air, shelter, food, water, etc. So suppose I am a very poor person, very extremely poor person, then also state must provide me food, water, clothes and shelter. Okay, food, water, clothes and shelter government has to provide me. If I die on the streets without food, then state must compensate me. State is at fault. Okay, so state cannot say we have not deprived a person from his liberty, we have not put this extremely poor person in the jail, we have not killed him, he died because he did not have any money, so he could not have food, so he died. No, state cannot take this argument. State has to feed me in any case. Right to legal remedy. Okay, so suppose now state has put me in the jail. Now simply by putting me in the jail, they cannot say we have fulfilled our legal obligation. If I do not have a fees to pay a lawyer, do not have money to hire a lawyer, it is state which will hire a lawyer for me. State will also, not only state will prosecute me, but if I am not able to defend myself out of so many reasons, state will provide a lawyer as well. That will be on the state's expense. State will not only prosecute me, but will state will also provide a lawyer to me for my defense. That is also my right to life and liberty, because life has to be meaningful life, and meaningful life cannot be there when my privacy is not there, dignity is shattered every day, I have been tortured, I don't have a clean environment, I don't have food, I don't have a legal remedy, so I don't have a meaningful life. Now this right to life, which started with just not keeping someone in jail or killing someone, has got so many expanded areas. Right to legal remedy as well. Right to marry by choice. Nobody should suppress my right to marry by choice. If I want to marry someone, I should have this right to choice. State should not stop me. Suppose a Hindu wants to marry a Muslim, or a Muslim wants to marry a Hindu, interreligion marriage. State cannot prevent me. Because right to marry by choice is also one of the canon of a meaningful life. Right to education, which has now become a separate right in Article 21A. That means every child under 21 years of age, under 14 years of age, 14, but now it is till 12. Okay, now till 12th class, state must provide me education. So if I live in an area, live in a district district which has no school, state must construct a school and must provide teachers so that my right to education be fulfilled. Now it doesn't matter that whether the school which is built by the state is having like is a big building or a small building. It may have only just two rooms. That's it. But two rooms should have been there, which are called a school. Two rooms should be there at least, and there should be a teacher. Right to medical treatment. If I am on the streets, I am poor, I don't have any money, then state must provide me a medical treatment. That is why we have government hospitals, or that is why we have PM Ayushman Yojana, in which PM Modi proposes to have free medical treatment of all people who are qualified as below poverty line, because these people are so poor and health is so expensive and maintenance hospitals and expenses of medical are so high nowadays that a poor person will rather die than going to the hospital. So that a person doesn't die just because he is a poor, we will provide him medical treatment. This is part of my right to life, right to travel abroad. If I want to travel abroad, state must give me a passport, must give me a passport. State cannot deny issuing a passport. Okay, I may be traveling for my study purposes, for business, or merely for traveling. I just want to travel abroad. That's it. Nothing else. I'm a tourist. Then also state must issue a passport to me. State cannot deny me a passport. That is my right to life. Okay, the gist is that all facilities which are required for the basic living must be provided by the state. But we must understand that this does not mean that we should be accorded luxury as well by the state. Okay, so a shelter may be established with 1 BHK flat. Okay, but someone may say, I need a seaside villa. No, we cannot fulfill your luxury requirements like you want a seaside villa. Okay, but general standards as per general standard, 1 BHK flat with lights and normal ceiling fan is there. Air conditioning or the refrigerator, this is not the duty of the state. Okay, thus only those rights which are very basic and very root of the living a decent life alone are part of the article 21. So you cannot compel state to install a refrigerator, install a game station, or a big LED LCD TV or a mobile phone. Okay, just that what is sufficient for living, a roof and with basic amenities, that is the duty of the state which it will provide. Now we have added a new article, article 21A, which we have just discussed. Okay, but the gist of it is again 6 to 14 years. Now it is till 12th class. Right to education has been framed by the government to fulfill obligations under this article. Now it is a right. Earlier it was a directive principle of state policy. Now it is a right. If you don't have a school, you can ask the school to state to provide a school to you. And under this initiative only, government has brought a scheme in which each private institution must have 25% of below poverty line students, and that will be free of cost. Okay, now every private institution college must have 25% of children which are free, which are studying there free of cost, and those children are which belong to below poverty line strata. This is our commitment to the right to education. This is our commitment, India's commitment to have a bright future for India. Now article 22, this is also a very salutary article, and it goes to the deep roots of the criminal justice system of India. Article 20, 21, 22, they all deal with the personal life and liberty, how your life and liberty can be taken away, or And if state is trying to ingress into your personal life, how you will evade the state, how will you move the state out of your personal life, what rights do you have? So article 21 says, state shall not deprive someone of his life or private liberty except procedure established by law. Now there is a procedure established by law. A has committed some offence within CRPC, IPC, and now state has put him behind the bars. Now his right to personal liberty does not get lost there just because he has committed an offence and state has framed the right law, and as per the law they are putting him behind the bars. No, even when a person is arrested, then this part of the constitution comes in to assist that person who has been arrested. Article 22 is protection against the arrest. No person who is arrested shall be detained in custody without being informed, as soon as may be, of the grounds for such arrest. No, nor shall he be denied the right to consult and to be defended by a legal practitioner of this choice. So now A is arrested. A is arrested, but he cannot be arrested without giving information. So when A is arrested or when somebody is arrested, police must give him information in writing that why you are being arrested, why you are being detained in custody. If police fails to disclose reasons, police must release that person immediately, and any minute, every single minute of detention beyond that period of arrest without being informed shall qualify as illegal confinement, and police shall be bound to rectify it or pay compensation. Plus, he shall have right to consult and defended by a legal practitioner. Now, if he so wishes, he wants to have his, he wants to meet his lawyer when he is in custody. Police cannot refuse him the access to the lawyer. If he wants to wish, if he wants to meet a lawyer, he would be allowed. State cannot prevent a lawyer or a person who has been arrested from meeting his lawyer. Every person who is arrested and detained in the custody shall be produced before the nearest magistrate within a period of 24 hours of such arrest, excluding the time necessary for the journey from the place of arrest to the court of the magistrate, and no such person shall be detained in custody beyond the said period without the authority of the magistrate. Now, when a person has been arrested, okay, A is arrested on, say, 20th September 2020 at 1 p.m. in noon. Now, before 1 p.m. noon on 21st September 2020, police must, within these 24 hours, within this time frame, police must take him to a nearest magistrate. And if the magistrate authorizes the detention further, if the magistrate passes the order that it's okay, you can keep this person behind the bars for a longer time, then only police can keep this person in the custody. Otherwise, police has no authority, and if within these 24 hours this requirement is not met, police must release this person. And if it doesn't so, police must compensate for the illegal arrest of that person. That arrest shall be qualified as illegal arrest. Okay, so many times it happens, if some offender has committed an offense and he has ran away, what police would do, police would arrest all his family members just to make a pressure on the accused person to come and surrender. But they cannot do so. If they want to keep those people in the arrest, they'll have to inform the reasons in writing. There should be grounds for the arrest. Just because my brother has committed an offense, police cannot arrest me, okay, and if they have arrested me, they must take me to a nearest magistrate, and magistrate in such case would not authorize the detention, and police will have to release me. They cannot harass me, okay. However, excluding the time for necessary journey from place of arrest to the court of magistrate, but this time shall be excluded from this 24 hours count. So suppose magistrate is, judge is 3 hours away from police station. So these three, or with traffic may say 3-4 hours, shall be deducted from the above 24 hours. That means maximum in this case police can stretch this 1 p.m. till 5 p.m. in evening, not beyond that. Okay. Now suppose A is has committed a crime in Delhi and arrested in Tamil Nadu. Now the journey alone takes around 2 to 3 days. Okay, so within those 2 to 3 days, now police cannot produce him before a magistrate in Delhi before these 2 3 days. Okay, and now we cannot expect police to take this much time in travel and keep the person behind the bars in the custody by saying that necessary time has to be excluded from the journey. No, this is not the meaning of this article. In this case, what police will do? Police will arrest him in the Tamil Nadu and take him to the nearest magistrate. Nearest magistrate in state of Tamil Nadu itself. Nadu itself. Okay, state of Tamil Nadu itself. So now they will take him to the nearest magistrate in the state of Tamil Nadu, and they will tell this magistrate that this man has committed an offense in the Delhi and we have arrested him within these 24 hours and we brought this person before you. Please now authorize us to detain him and we want to take him to the state of Delhi, and the magistrate will say, okay, yes, take him. Then they can now keep this person behind the custody in the detention. Okay, this is the whole import, so that nobody is arrested without information of the grounds, nobody is deprived from his legal counsel, and nobody is kept behind the police custody without informing the court and without taking the opinion of the court. However, exception in this law is that it shall not apply to an enemy alien. Enemy alien means suppose we are at war with some country. War with a country, say China. Now we are at war with the China. We are not really at the war with the China, but just for the example, we are at war with the China. So if any Chinese spy or soldier is arrested, he shall be classified as an enemy alien, and these requirements may not be fulfilled in his case. He may not be produced before a magistrate within 24 hours, or he may not be even allowed to meet his legal counsel. Okay, or any person who is arrested or detained in any law providing for preventive detention. Preventive detention is separate law mechanism. When you arrest someone before the crime is committed. Usually, people are arrested when they commit a crime, but in the preventive detention, like the word says, preventive detention, just to prevent someone from committing a crime, you arrest him. In these cases, you can forego these requirements and you can straight away arrest these person. Okay, preventive detention, like when the state of J&K Article 370 was removed, then so many leaders like Omar Abdullah, Mehbooba Mufti, etc. were arrested under the law of preventive detention, because state had a reason to believe that if these people are not arrested, they are going to give speeches in the public and public will be infuriated and there shall be riots in the state and a lot of bloodshed and the loss of property will happen. So these people were arrested under the preventive detention laws. That is a separate law altogether. However, for a common man, usually he fits in this category, and these guarantees are provided by the Constitution of India. Now we come to Article 23. Article 23 is prohibition of traffic in human beings and forced labor. This traffic in human being, this is not like road traffic, it is like trade in human beings. Buying or selling of human beings as slaves. This is prohibited. This law hits at the slavery movement. Okay, like in the previous times, we see people used to keep other people as slaves or bonded labor. Some labors were brought on the side, and then they were, like we have seen in the movie KGF. If you people are familiar, in KGFs, many laborers were kept as slaves. This is not allowed. This is not allowed, and Constitution guarantees you that nobody can compel you for a forced labor. Plus, nobody can trade in human beings. Nobody can buy or sell human beings. Forced labor means no one can compel you to work. If somebody doesn't want to work, that is his wish. State cannot compel someone to work. State cannot tell me that no, you must do this thing or you must do that thing. No, that is not the job of the state. Traffic in human beings and begar. Begar means forced labor only, and other forms of similar forms of forced labor are prohibited, and any contravention of this provision shall be an offence punishable in accordance with the law. That means no forced labor or no dealing, sale, purchase of persons, human beings. However, there are reasonable restrictions on this right as well. Suppose reasonable right, I'll just explain. Suppose A is convicted and sent to jail and ordered to do manual labor there. Like we see in the movies, the stars usually when they go to the jail, it is seen that there is a scenario in which they are breaking the rocks. Okay, they are breaking the rocks. So this is kind of the manual labor you may be asked to do in the jail. Why? Because you are sentenced by the court, and when you are sentenced by the court to do manual labor, then you cannot say that I will not do the manual labor. I will not do the manual labor. Why? Because I cannot be compelled to do forced labor. I do not wish to do this labor. No, in that cases you cannot take this plea, and you will be compelled to, you will be forced to do this particular of the manual labor. Okay, and that will not be a ground itself. And while imposing such service, state shall not make any discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, class, or any of them. That means state cannot say that you belong to that caste, so you do that work. You belong to that caste, you are now jail, you do that work. It can't be done by the state. Discrimination has not, cannot be there. Okay, these are some examples where forced labor is okay, like jail service when you are asked by the court, Gurdwara service, like if you are in a Gurudwara, some people, some management wants you people to do something. If you want to stay in the Gurudwara, then that shall not be a manual labor. Religious place gatherings, just like Gurudwara, only school services. Okay, like school service, if I'm in a school, I'm a student, school wants me to do some assignment, I cannot say I won't do this assignment, that is a forced labor. Okay, I won't do my homework in the holiday homes. Why? Because I don't want to do this, this is a forced labor. No, it can't be done like this article strikes at the root of slavery. It says no one can be compelled to work against his wishes, thus a government. Okay, now we are, this is, I have written it for your reference later. No right could be absolute. Each right has some restrictions, limitations imposed upon it. Thus, a government can compel a prisoner to work if he has been ordered so by the judge and he could not claim violation of fundamental rights, or government can make rules which require a doctor before taking a full-time job to work for a year in rural areas. This is done with vision to provide medical assistance to all the quarters. Also, government may transfer teachers, engineers, doctors to different areas as per the requirement, and same shall not be a violation of fundamental right. And a government teacher cannot say, I was happy working in Delhi alone. Transfer in Nagaland is a forced labor. Okay, so these transfer policies are also excluded from the operation of this law, and government can freely transfer its employees from one place to another, and one cannot say that I will not work here, I was happy working doing, and work in Nagaland or any other area
It's 4 o'clock.
is like a forced labor to me. Now we come to Article 24. Article 24 says prohibition of employment of children in factories, etc. Now see, no child below the age of 14 years shall be employed to work in any factory or mine or engaged in any hazardous employment. Now you must be confused that this is, there is a now stark violation or contrast within Article 21, which says no person shall be, which gives you a basic right to life and dignity, and Article 21, which says you will not be employed in the factories. Now you are a child, you are 10 years old or 11 years old, and you say that I want to work in a factory, I want to earn some salary because my family is very poor, I want to support my family, I want to sustain myself, I want to take employment, but employment is not allowed. Why? Because they say you are not allowed to work. Now this is in contrast to my right to live. If I want to live, I want to have money, and if I want to have money, I must do some job, but you are not allowing me to job. Now how do I give full effect to my right to live life and my dignity? Okay, in that case, this is a kind of a reasonable restriction upon the right to life and liberty, plus and a prohibition on the employers or the factory owners who want to employ children below the age of 14 years in the factories. The rationale behind this is that children are young children, 14 years, very young, they are very vulnerable, easily subject to abuse. Okay, and they don't have a fair understanding of the environment as well. So now in the factories, they may be put to some hazardous work which may be life threatening, life shortening, life disabling. Life, you are working in some concrete agency, concrete factory, where your life is shortened because you are smelling the concrete fumes all the time, so your life expectancy goes down. So a child's life expectancy goes down, or he may be disabled. Is engaged in some factory which requires a great amount of caution or a great amount of precaution. But child is a child, as by nature he may be not that cautious, and he may end up in getting one leg amputated. Okay, so this is the purpose of the state, that because there is a difference between the wisdom and maturity and understanding of a child and a adult or a grown up. So when we are talking about children beyond below 14 years of age, they are very vulnerable, they are subject to abuse. You can even take their, you may not even pay them, or they may not even know the standard minimum wages, standard law applicable to them, and they may be life expectancy may go down. They may meet some accidents, and so many things may happen. Plus children of tender age are you know meant to study, and we have article 21 as well. State gives them right to study, and in this right to studies, state provides them food in the schools, like midday meals are there. State provides books, uniform, money, food, and almost everything free of cost. Okay, so state says below 14 years, no children should be employed in factory or hazardous employment, where children may end up in being something else rather than a human being. He may turn into a totally depressed fellow because of such hard work in such a small young age. So that is a restriction both on the children. Even if the children want to employ himself, he cannot do so, and even if the somebody wants to employ him, he cannot do so. Okay, even if a children wants to work, then also he cannot work, because otherwise this law will be abused and every employer will take in writing from children's and compel them to write something and then employ him. And when the authorities come to check, then he can simply show that this child has given me in writing that he is willing to work, so I could not stop him. Okay, even if child gives in writing, you cannot put him on employment. If you do so, that will be not only a violation of law but the violation of the constitution itself, and you can be subjected to great penalties under the law. Article 25 is another important right, because India is a religious country. We have a long standing tradition of religion and religious practices, and we have a great religious diversity as well. Okay, India is land of religions. We have innumerable numbers, like maybe 10-20 kinds of religions other than 4 or 5 major religions. We have so many sub religions as well, so that tomorrow no religion is curtailed or somebody's religion is not taken away from him. That constitution took care of this thing. Why? Because more so because even when the country was divided on the religious lines. Partition happened on religious lines. Great deal of tension. Religious tension existed at time, which led the framers of the constitution to give this as a separate fundamental right, though it can also be a part of your right to life and liberty, that a decent life means I must fulfill my religion. But they thought that we should crystallize it in a separate article, though it is also a part of Article 21 itself, but still we will give it in writing that you have a guarantee that you can subject to public order, morality and health. These are the reasonable restrictions: public order, morality and health. And to the other provisions of this part, all persons are equally entitled to freedom of conscience and the right to freely profess, practice and propagate religion. Okay, so now it gives you 4 rights. You are entitled to freedom of conscience. Whatever your conscience allows you. You may be a believer. You may be believing. You may be a believer of Hinduism or Islam, or you may not believe in God at all. You may be a non-believer. You may be a non-believer. You are agnostic. You don't believe in God at all. You don't believe in the existence of the God at all. No issues. You want to believe in the God, you believe. You don't want to believe in the God, you don't believe it. You want to have a partial belief in the God. Sometimes you want to believe, sometimes you don't want to believe. No issues. Government or anyone cannot tell you that that particular day you said I believe in God, now you are saying I don't believe in God. This is wrong, will put you behind the bars. Either you believe or you don't believe. No, it can't be done. Okay, and you have not only freedom of conscience, not only you believe, you hold this belief opinion that I don't believe in the God, but you have freely, you can profess, you can practice and propagate that particular religion. Now you can teach or spread it to others as well, who are willing, others as well who are willing to learn. You can also tell them that don't believe in the God, this is my experience with the God and I don't believe that he exists. You can profess it, you can yourself practice it, and you can propagate it as well. Okay, you can write books over it, you can make movies over it. So many religious movies are there, they are always subject to a lot of discussion and debate in the media, due to because we are very sensitive people, we hold religion very dearly to us. So you can freely propagate, practice and carry out your own religion, subject to the reasonable restrictions are public order, morality and health. Like public order means, public order implies You must not create public nuisance. Okay. You must not carry out your religion or whatever your belief in such a way that it becomes a public nuisance, like you are giving a hatred speech. You are saying X religion versus Y religion, and people belonging to Y religion must be killed. No, you can't do that. In the garb of religion, you can't do that. That my religion is superior to your religion, and people belonging to your religion are not good people, and you should be killed. This can't be done. So, subject to public order, whatever, if you are going to follow, practice, or propagate this kind of religion, then state is definitely going to restrict you. They are going to arrest you, detain you, and put you on the prosecution or public morality. Okay, public morality has to be followed all the time. So you cannot have a religion which goes against the public decency. Okay, you cannot have, like, you cannot have nudity as a religion and then say I'll remain naked all the time, or I'll, my whole followers should be naked, or should disparage women. My religion, my belief is that women is inferior, and I'll like violate women, or my religion supporters should be against the women. This is not, this is against the public order and as well as morality as well. And also to the health, you should take care that in your religion there is no unhealthy practice. Okay, so you are asking your people to walk on the fire, or cut their one finger in the name of God, or get one ear punctured, or this and that. I mean, these practices can be stopped by the government, and you cannot claim your freedom of religion there. If the health of the people, like you are asking people to drink some composition, drink some composition in the name of religion, that this is the drink of our God. This is the drink of our God, and you must consume it regularly, which is contrary to health. So government can ask you, don't do this, don't consume it yourself, nor ask other people to consume it. If you again found doing this, we will arrest you and we will launch a prosecution against you. Otherwise, you are free. Okay, largely you are free, but these are only exceptions. This article gives right to all people to follow any religion of their choice. Further, it not only gives right to follow a particular religion, but it also allows one to propagate and preach that religion to others as well. Also, religions mobility is also allowed, such as Hindu may follow Islam or a Christian may follow Buddhism. Further, it also says that a person may not follow any religion at all and may choose to remain an atheist. Okay, so Hindu may follow Islam, or Islam may follow Christianity. It hardly makes a difference for India as a country, because we are a secular country. State does not have any religion of its own. Plus, state is equally tolerant to all religion, and state allows everyone to profess, propagate, practice, and have their own conscience. Suppose a religion promotes cannibalism. In a religion, people say that we will eat human flesh. We cannot permit it. Okay. So these are the kind of restrictions which could be imposed upon your right to religion as per these article of the Constitution. Now we come to Article 26, subject to public order, morality, and health. Now these restrictions are against the same when it comes to religion, like we read it in this article, subject to public order, morality, and health. Okay, so Article 26 says, subject to public order, morality, and health, every religious domination or any section thereof shall have right. Religious denomination means you identify yourself with the some section. Suppose like Hindu. In Hindu, some may be Shiva follower, some may be Vishnu. In Islam, there may be Shia or Sunni, and so on. Okay, these are religious denominations or any section thereof shall not have right, shall have the right, sorry, excuse me, please, shall have the right to establish and maintain institutions for religious and charitable purposes. So any religion, if I belong to Shiv, Shiv follower, now I have a right to maintain. I can set up an educational institution which propagates the religious, which is for religious and charitable purposes. I'm a Shiva follower. I can set up an institution which tells people about Shiva and indulges in charity related to Shiva. I am allowed to do so. To manage its own affairs in matters of religion. I am free to manage my own affairs. Okay, manage my own affairs. Government will not tell me that you must spend your money on Shiva temple at Delhi. No, I may not feel like spending my money, though I'm a Shiva follower, but I still may not like spending my money on the Shiva temple in Delhi. Rather, I would spend it on a Shiva temple in Gujarat. So, government say, okay, you want to spend it for Shiva temple in Gujarat, you do it there. You want to make this particular picture of Shiva, you make this particular picture of Shiva. You want to have some other name of Shiva, you call Shiva by any other name. That is totally your issue. You manage your own affairs in matter of religion. To own and acquire movable and immovable property, and for those purposes, when I'm setting up an institution, I'll need a building, probably loudspeakers, probably cars and all and stuff, so I can have my own. This religious institution can also acquire property, both immovable and movable as well, just like a company can do so to administer such property. Okay, to administer such property, I can expand the property, I can sell it, buy a new one, convert it to temple, open a school, etc. To administer such property in accordance with the law. In accordance with the law, whatever activities law permit with regular property, I can do so even with my property in the name of my religion and the promotion of religion, subject to public order, morality, and health. This right allows religious institutions such as Hindu school or a madrasa etc. a freedom to set up institutions for imparting religious teachings along with regular school curriculum. These institutes can manage their own affairs and state will not interfere if it does not come in the conflict with restrictions. These are the restrictions: public order, morality and health. Also, institute may choose how to profits have to be utilized. So there is a complete freedom. Now we go to Article 27. No person, hang on. Article 27. No person shall be compelled to pay any taxes, the proceeds of which are specifically appropriated in payment of expenses for the promotion or maintenance of any particular religion or religious denomination. Okay, this may sound a bit ambiguous or vague. A simple meaning is no tax to be paid on religious charity. Okay, so I'm a Shiva follower. Suppose my income is 20 lakh for this year. Okay, and out of that 20 lakh, I have spent 5 lakh on Shiva charity, registered Shiva charity. So my income for income tax purposes shall be calculated only 15 lakh, and whatever income tax I'll have to pay only on this 15 lakh only, not on 20 lakh, because this 5 lakh shall be excluded. Okay, shall be excluded from computation of my income, because constitution says no person shall be compelled to pay any taxes, the proceeds of which are specifically appropriated in payments of expenses for the promotion or maintenance of any particular religion or religious denomination, like Hindu, or within Hindu Shiva or Vishnu or so many other, Durga, Kali etc. Okay, plus it even prohibits government from levying taxes in the name of religion. Okay, state itself cannot create a tax which will be used for promotion of any particular religion. State cannot compel citizens to pay Hindu tax or Muslim tax. Okay, no person shall be compelled to pay any taxes. Okay, in any manner you cannot be compelled to pay any taxes, either when you are spending from your own volition to 5 lakh to Shiva charity, this 5 lakh will be excluded. Plus state also cannot tomorrow, like we have Swachh Bharat cess, okay, or education cess. These are the taxes which you have to pay in order to contribute from your money to the education of India, or to for keeping India clean, Swachh Bharat, keeping India clean. But tomorrow government cannot safe say Ram temple says that 0.2% of your purchase shall be automatically deducted to the fundings of the Ram temple. Government cannot do so. If you want to spend any amount on the construction of Ram temple, you are free to do so, and that amount shall be validly deducted from your computation of the income. That is Article 27 of the Constitution of India. Now, Article 28. No religious instruction shall be provided in any educational institution wholly maintained out of state funds. Okay, that means no religious instruction. Religious instructions means, suppose, Gita or Quran or Bible. Okay, Gita, Quran, or Bible. Okay, no religious instructions. These are religious instructions. Or what is Hinduism? How you can be, how one could be a true Hindu, etc. Okay, no religious instruction shall be provided in any educational institution wholly maintained out of the state funds. Okay, when some educational institutions, these are, we are talking about government education plus institutions receiving funds for its maintenance from government. Okay, wholly maintained. Whole is the critical word here. So if some institute is taking some funding from the government, and the other funding is done by managed by itself, then they can impart some religious instruction if they want to, so. But otherwise, any government institution, because government of India is a secular entity, so any government institution which is maintained solely by the government funds shall not impart any religious instructions. Religious instructions are like that you have to read Gita, Quran, Bible, you must go to the church on every Sunday, or you must keep this kind of hairstyle, or you must keep this kind of beard. No, that can't be done. These religious instructions are not part of the government, and government cannot promote these as well. Description. This right gives effect to the secular nature of the state as well as to the freedom of religion of people. It says that state cannot provide any particular religious teachings in its own institutions. It can provide basic information about all the major religions but cannot have a curriculum or practice which promotes any particular religion. Example, state government school cannot compel students to put tilak or religious sign on forehead. It cannot ask students or teachers to visit church. Okay, so it can provide a basic information about all major religions. Okay, there, this can be done in the school, in school textbooks, just to inform people or keep students informed. They can have a syllabus in which they are giving teaching about all major religions. Okay, but they cannot selectively cherry pick. They cannot say that we'll give information about Hindu religion only or Muslim religion only. No, if they are giving any religion, any information about Hindu religion, they must do so with the Muslim as well, Islam as well. they should teach something about Islam, Sikhism, or Christianity, and the major religions of India. Then they should teach some broad things about all these religions, as to what these religions are, what are its practices, what do people do in majors, not in very microscopic manner. So these are our article 28. Now we are left with some more fundamental rights, and we'll finish it off them in the next class.